I thought it was interesting to see them both in their amateur gear, by the way. So I thought that was a pretty nice touch.
Yeah, one wearing Syracuse, the other one wearing Michigan. Yeah, so screw him for that. But anyway.
Yeah, Big Blue.
Yeah, they blew all right. Partway through the match, Kevin Sullivan gets on the mic, and if you're like in the arena, not hearing commentary, you're completely lost. Kevin Sullivan grabs a mic and randomly just says, "That sure is a nice little dog you've got there in the locker room." And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
That sounded so creepy.
He said it just like that. He said it just like that. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm like, what are you going to do to the dog? I don't know.
You don't want to know. I don't want to know.
He was going to do to it what Big Boss Man did to Pepper.
Good grief. Why?
Sorry. Oh, man. I'm just tickling myself over here.
I don't want to know about that either.
On commentary, they put over the fact that they've just gimmicked the crap out of Rick Steiner, because who the hell could get behind this hard-hitting dog-faced gremlin that just beat the crap out of people and is a great amateur wrestler, and he barks and the crowd's behind him. Who cares about that? No. He draws a stupid face on his hand and talks to it, and he calls it Alex. And by the way, people in the crowd were mimicking that, by the way. Like, they were behind it. I'm like,
I couldn't tell if they were behind it or teasing it.
Maybe both. I don't know. But anyway, he did that. And apparently he had a dog that he would bring to shows with him. And Kevin Sullivan was threatening his dog. So.
And he's a sick kind of freak that would actually do something to that dog.
Well, yeah, he worships the devil.
Allegedly.
I don't know. But yeah, allegedly. Yeah. But this distracts Steiner. This does not lead to the finish, by the way. It was.
Because why would it?
Spot. Oh, of course. The finish comes with Rick Steiner locks in a sleeper hold on Mike Rotunda and lays back with it. And the referee counts Steiner's shoulders to the mat, declaring the passed out Mike Rotunda the winner and new freaking champion. My God, what a finish. Uncle Dave gave it 1.5 stars. I gave it 2.5 for average. What say you?
I said 2. I just couldn't get into it. I felt they went, way too much amateur stuff.
It was so like, they gimmicked the crap out of Rick Steiner. Thank God he eventually teamed up with Scott, and they kind of dropped the gimmicks after a while, except for the dog-faced gremlin thing. But
but that worked. I mean,
yeah, that one was actually and that was like apparently that was his nickname when he was wrestling in college. So yeah, that was like legit. Man, even though that was a title match, I just But now things.
Varsity Club, man, was just ahead of its time.
Fire. Yeah. Well, we go to the back. Now things actually start to pick up in the night. So if you've been bored up until now with these matches, they actually start to get good. Bob Connell interviews Paul Ellering and the Road Warriors, who basically talk about how much ass they're going to kick tonight in, quote, their hometown of Chicago. I think they're actually from Minnesota, but they build them from Chicago because that sounds tougher. So, I don't know. I don't remember on the Road Warriors DVD. Do you? Or not DVD,
yeah, they're from Minnesota.
Okay, yeah, it was the Road Warriors Dark Side of the Ring. That's what I was getting at. Yeah, 'cause I was pretty sure they said they were from Minneapolis, but that doesn't sound quite as tough as Chicago. But up next, we get...
From the mean Twin Cities.
Yeah. Barry Windham, he also has Hiro Matsuda in his corner. He is defending the NWA United States Championship against Lex Luger. They go for 10 minutes, 43 seconds. The match ends when Barry Windham hits a bridging back suplex on Luger. The referee counts both men down, but Luger pops his shoulder up at 2, while Windham does not. So another messed up finish. After the match, Windham pile drives Luger onto the U.S. title. Oy, man. I'll get to the ratings in a second here, but Barry at one point during the match punched a ring post and bladed his hand, which was a setup.
Did he blade it?
Yeah, I think he was bleeding from the hand a little bit.
No, he was, but I'm like, did he blade it? I was like, I thought he legit cut it.
No, he because that was a planned spot. I don't think he actually punched it, but I don't know. But this was a setup of a cast gimmick when he returned with from wrist surgery. Apparently he needed wrist surgery. But he never did return, by the way. So I think he went to the WWF after this for a little while. Uncle Dave notes that the crowd was turning on Luger. Apparently Dave was in the crowd, and he claims that the crowd was turning on Luger and cheering for Windham, but that does not come across on television. Of course it doesn't, Dave. I don't understand what these dirt sheet guys' problem is with Luger. Every single one of them run him down and claim that he gets crapped on all the time.
I find it funny that one of the first things you and I bonded over was like we both liked Luger.
Yeah.
Not many people I talk to care for him, and I don't know. I was always a fan of his.
Yeah, me too.
And do you remember at WrestleCon in New Orleans? I went right up to his table when I saw him. Like, oh, that's the first one I'm getting. Just the nicest dude in the world. Just the nicest dude in the world. It's really hard to shake his hand and see how frail he is and he can't walk anymore. It really hurts to see that.
I know, especially when he was like a real life superhero for so many years, or he looked like one.
And just like I said, that's the first thing you and I talked about. Was like, wow, someone who does not hate Luger, cool.
Yeah, right. Uncle Dave rated this match 3 3/4 stars. I gave it 3. What say you?
I said 3 as well. I thought it was really good. I thought it showed what Lex Luger was capable at the time.
Yeah.
And I still thought that Windham, even though he's like in a top spot, still, in my opinion, very underrated. I don't think people realize how good that man is.
Oh yeah, both of these guys were great. I mean, if there were blown spots, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Everything looked crisp. Everything was intense too. That's the thing. This wasn't.
We're talking Vance Archer intense, dude. Seriously.
Wow. Lance Archer, damn it, you're using his slave name.
Whatever.
But anyway.
Either way, everybody dies, okay?
Oh, well, yeah. But either
God,
way,
I hope people get that.
Right. They should if they watch AEW. But yeah, after a night of headlocks, this one was just, I hesitate to call a nearly 11-minute match short and sweet, but compared to what we've seen so far, this was short, sweet, and to the point.
I also need to point out, too, that the finish is like so overdone now, but at the time, I feel it was probably original.
Yeah.
If not original, at least not overused yet.
No, but it's like we get 2 finishes on the show where, the first one with Steiner being pinned.
Yeah.
And then this one.
Well, the next match, too, let's not jump ahead, but yeah, the next one has a pretty screw finish, too. So.
Yeah. Because right now we go backstage. Bob Caudle is talking with television champion Mike Rotunda, who says that years down the road, no one will remember how he won, just that he won the television title. Can I just point out, I it's weird saying this because he was good as IRS, but man, his promos as Mike Rotunda sucked. He looked more comfortable than he sounded. I'll say that.
Right.
So, but
I feel like he was struggling. Like he had something to remember and like forgot the script. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah. And then afterwards they're like, yeah, you're supposed to say, oh, damn it.
Right.
Well, keep in mind, he was only the second worst promo in the Varsity Club.
Not a high bar.
The worst promo in the Varsity Club was about to come up, and I'm not talking about Kevin Sullivan. But we get the Road Warriors of Hawk and Animal with Paul Ellering defending the NWA World Tag Team titles against the Varsity Club of Dr. Death Steve Williams and Games Master Kevin Sullivan. This one...
Former Sooner. Sorry.
From the wrestling capital of the world, Perry, Oklahoma. man, when they announced that on AEW, man, I could just hear JR getting a chubby. This match went just shy of 8.5 minutes. Maybe I misheard them, but did you hear audible LOD chants in the crowd, or were they chanting something else?
I didn't notice it. If I was to go back and listen for it, but I didn't notice it. So
I was listening in. I was like, are they chanting LOD? Because I don't remember.
Well, they were LOD. I mean, they were.
Were they using that name?
No, well, the group was LOD. They were called the Road Warriors.
Oh, okay. Well,
but
that makes
Vince
sense.
Vince changed the Road Warriors in WWE because he had the Ultimate Warrior already, and they wanted to use that. So.
Yeah, I learned that from the Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
I know
that one I feel like I've known for years. I don't remember where, but I think I heard it years ago.
Yeah, I forget about the Legion of Doom thing, but they did that because was it Hawk that was a big comic nerd?
Well, probably.
I think they said it was like Hawk was like, oh, the Legion of Doom. Like, he was thinking of, like in DC Comics. But anyway, yeah, so loud LOD chants. You could tell where they were. Match ends with Hawk taking out Kevin Sullivan with a flying lariat off the top. And he pins Sullivan while Williams pins Animal. Neither one of them were legal, by the way. Animal and Williams were not the legal men, even though Animal still pops his shoulder up at like 1. But, who cares? And Williams pretends like he just won the match. And he looks indignant that the LOD won. Whatever. Uncle Dave.
Another screwy finish.
Yep. Uncle Dave gave this, I'm like, really gonna nitpick that much? 2 1/4 star. I gave it 2.5 stars.
I said it was 2 stars. I thought it was a typical brawl. I did think it was a little short. And I felt like it was over when I started getting into it.
Right, yeah. And Sullivan, as much as I'm not a fan of his in-ring work ever, he didn't do too bad here. He didn't do anything that made me go, oh, gosh. He wasn't in the ring a whole lot.
I think in the Varsity Club, he was the guy that everyone just beat up. Whipping boy.
Yeah. He was weird in the Varsity Club, I think. Did he ever wear a jacket? Didn't he? With a school name on it?
Yeah, he did for a minute.
Do you remember which school it was?
I do not.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look because I don't even remember.
Okay, so it wasn't Syracuse and it wasn't Michigan, so because I'm pretty sure they all wore different ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, because and then Dr. Death was Oklahoma, so he had the Oklahoma singlet.
No, Ed Ferrara was Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh, shut up! Just shut the hell up. Remind us of that.
It was easy. I couldn't resist. Sorry.
We go to the back where Bob Caudle is interviewing Lex Luger in the locker room. Luger's head is completely wrapped like in a cartoon. And he says that he needs stitches, he has a jammed neck, and Barry Windham may have shattered his wrist. And then he puts over the fact that he's the U.S. champion. He thanks the fans for having his back and all that good stuff. So, for the record, for as much
Well, apparently they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, according to Uncle Dave and Bruce Mitchell of the Torch, by the way, he says the same thing, that the crowd was never behind Luger, which, I mean, I have ears, so I disagree. The thing about Luger, by the way, a lot of people talk about his bad attitude in the WWF. According to Eric Bischoff and others, he wasn't that bad in WCW. He liked it better there. And NWA, I don't know about NWA.
Well, to be fair, though, Sting was his best friend, or is probably still. So, I mean, that probably helped.
Well, I was going to say both of them now have found religion, so they probably are still best friends, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Probably more than ever.
Right. But yeah, so Luger, I guess, was fine in the NWA, but at the same time, I guess, people, the top dogs like Flair and whatever were hesitant to put him over ever because they just kept saying, well, he has potential, but not right now.
If you go back and watch any, let's see, do I say older show, younger show? The early days of the NWA with him there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody used the word potential with him.
Yep. Yeah, that's what JR always puts over on his podcast. He says, how long can you live off of potential? He's like, we got to crap or get off the pot with him.